This is a tale of a mother's extraordinary love for her son, offering hope where, for so long, there has been none. Ryan Mills has lived most of his life in the shadows of society. His adult life spent in group homes and in institution. His mother, Susan Harvey, believes his life could be so much better. And the dream? A so-called pocket community.
The pocket community design is a circle of houses with a courtyard in the middle and a sidewalk. And it has an amenity house or a common house for hanging out, maybe a cafe. And the vehicles are parked on the exterior of this little community, not in the inside, so there's a whole safety element as well. So I could picture Ryan running out of his house and running around the circle and coming into the common house, and it sounds like almost utopian, but why not?
Of course, it's called Ryan's Park. Susan's son Ryan is living with severe autism. Overwhelming anxiety can cause him to bang his head against walls. He doesn't sleep much. He needs 24/7 care.
Can you use your card? Can you show me this one? You want a cookie with your coffee?
It's why decades ago, Susan Harvey reluctantly agreed to put her son in the care of the province.
I became exhausted, and so after a number of years being a single mom and working, I couldn't keep him at home.
In the care of the province, he was medicated. His overall health worsened. Strangely, his belly began to balloon. Then, the pandemic struck.
That was the worst horror of my life. Because of COVID, I was afraid he was going to get it and die. He was in poor condition. He was way underweight. He looked like gray. He was not well for some reason. He has some physical disorder.
In desperation, Susan brought Ryan home. She Ryan-proofed her house, locking up pretty much everything. She padded the interior walls, including his bedroom.
When he's in his room here and he sees the gate, he knows that it's time to rest.
And because Ryan thrashes wildly at night,
so this room's all padded now. It's not very attractive.
She monitored him with cameras while, for months, she tried to get a few hours sleep outside in her woodshed. The stress of it all reduced her to a mere 100 pounds.
Okay, right, hang on. I didn't hire other people for a couple of months, and then I hired a person for the day, 8 to 4, Monday to Friday, to give me a bit of a break. Like, I was like dying. You just can't do 24/7 care. And it was horrifying.
Housing people with disabilities should not look like this, and everyone here knows it.
Nova Scotia's Court of Appeal has made a ruling in a case involving 3 people with disabilities who were...
The courts ruled 2 years ago the province's failure to offer meaningful access to housing services for people with disabilities amounts to a violation of their basic rights. After decades of government delays, Susan Harvey had a eureka moment.
Walking by here on one of my walks, because I had just moved to Kentville, and looked in and saw the for sale sign here and thought, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if I could build a house in there for Ryan and bring him out? And then I thought, well, I read this book on pocket communities, and I was like, well, I'm going to build a whole community for Ryan in there.
She talked about an idea that she had. And it was one of those ideas that, you start to almost wiggle in your seat because there's so much more to it than what she's just saying. If what we're doing is no longer meeting the needs of our citizen, then we're not doing the right thing. So we have an opportunity here.
If only someone could give life to it. Susan Harvey found a developer who could do just that.
We don't want people in institutions any longer. We don't need that. Most people are good people. Like, if someone's down here in a wheelchair living in Unit 6, I think the guy next door will be happy to be his neighbor and be happy to help him when he needs help. That's probably the most important part, is the integration of the community and the integration of different people, and that's what's really special about this place.
And in that spirit, Ryan's Park rose from the ground, a one-of-its-kind housing development, a model for what could be.
You can't wait for the government to find it. They're not going to find it. You have to show them how to do it, and then they will they'll come on board, I believe.
What Ryan is doing is he's creating a different way of thinking. He's creating a passion in me and in others to change things, to create something new and wonderful.
Ryan often paces in circles. It's a stress reliever for him. And he's compulsive around food. If he sees it, he eats it. So this is Ryan's new house, soon-to-be house.
This is Ryan's little home.
His new house design.
And there will be a wall here with a door.
Will take all those traits into account.
So we could close it off during food preparation. But also, when those doors are open, it gives him the benefit of wandering space because he loves to wander around a circle between rooms.
Ryan's mother can almost see her son living his new life here. But as for the future of Ryan's Park, it's about a year behind schedule. Construction costs have close to doubled, and the developer and owner has had problems finding work crews. Does a part of you worry it might not happen for Ryan?
Absolutely, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, then I think, okay, do I start dreaming up something else?
That first.
Ryan now lives in his mother's house, tended to by 24-hour staff, paid for by the province. And Susan Harvey has had to permanently move out of her own home.
I'm very sad. I'm very sorrowful because I'm stepping back, and of my age, I'm thinking, you know, what have I been effective? What have I done? Ryan is still suffering.
So Tom, she's holding it together, clearly, but it's also clear that this is really, really hard. What happens next for Ryan?
Yeah, well, the latest hope is that Ryan's Park will be ready by late fall. Now, the government says it'll support families in finding homes that best suit their loved ones' needs. But when asked if Ryan will be able to move into Ryan's Park and continue to receive the government supports he does now receive, a spokesperson would not comment on this particular case.
So the province also says, you know, that it's been trying to phase out large institutional housing for a decade now. What's the progress on that?
Yeah, government bureaucrats insist that they are trying. I mean, it's a massive undertaking to find suitable housing. It's just that 10 years ago, a report called for all 8 institutions to close. None did. Then late last month, there was another report which aims to remedy what has been called a long-standing violation of human rights. One of the institutions is slated to close in a few months. The rest, according to the government now, sometime within 5 years, Adrienne.
All right, Tom, thank you for staying on this.
You're welcome.